This season has been quite bad for the New York Rangers, and I think in this upcoming offseason, it is pretty clear that this New York Rangers team must make some pretty big upgrades with this roster and potentially coaching staff as well. But in today's video, we're going to focus on the defense core and how this team absolutely needs to add in another kind of top four caliber defenseman. Right now, you have a number one caliber guy, I think, in Adam Fox, but after that, there is no other kind of true top pairing caliber guy, and there's not a lot of kind of other kind of even like high-end second pairing kind of guys really on this team. You take a look at this D-core, you've got a guy like Fox, and then you have a bunch of, solid defensemen like a Schneider, a Borgen, at moments, a Keandre Miller, but if we're being honest here, there's not that kind of really kind of high-end second pairing kind of guy. Even you have some solid guys, but not another kind of really good defenseman or a great defenseman on this team. I think a guy like Braden Schneider could definitely turn into that. We've seen Will Borgen play really great at moments, and obviously Keandre Miller kind of flashes some moments kind of here and there, being that kind of, true top four pairing kind of guy, but he's not consistent enough there. And even a guy like Carson Soucy, I think, was a nice add for this team. I think for next season, there could be a solid player to kind of fill in here and there in the top four for sure, but he's not a kind of high-end second pairing kind of guy. He's a, at best kind of decent second pairing kind of guy. So I think, in my opinion, we have to see some major upgrades with this defense core. So we're going to take a look at some of those options that could become available in free agency after we did just see the Washington Capitals lock up one of the kind of what was supposed to be one of the top free agents and top defensemen available in this upcoming free agent class in Jakob Chychrun, as he got a pretty major extension with the Capitals there, being an 8-year deal worth $9 million per season. He got an absolute payday there, which is going to have a pretty major impact on this upcoming free agent class for defensemen, as, like I said, he was one of the top ones that was going to be available, and now he is not. So there's a pretty major name off the board there. He was definitely someone who I at least would have liked to see the Rangers, maybe attempt to sign. I never thought it would be a super realistic option, but it definitely could have been a decent one, and obviously now he's off the board. So we're going to take a look at the other kind of free agent defenseman that could become available, that could be, good targets for this Rangers team. And, first off here, right now, the Rangers pretty much have 5 defensemen under contract for next season. You've got Adam Fox, Carson Soucy, Will Borgen, Braden Schneider, and Urho Vakanainen. So, solid 5 defensemen there. I think Urho, I would like to see him as the number 7 kind of guy. I think that would be ideal. If not, he's going to be the number 6 guy at best. That's what he is, a 6/7 defenseman. If you're number 7 guy, I think that's pretty good depth there. So this team has some solid kind of foundational pieces here. You've got the number 1 guy in Foxy. You've got Borgen, Soucy, and Schneider, who I think can all be, at least kind of around, decent second pairing kind of guys. I'm hoping next season we can see some pretty big steps forward in, Braden Schneider's game. I think Will Borgen and Soucy, though, can just be some solid, for the most part, reliable defensemen. I know so far this season there, Carson Soucy maybe hasn't been absolutely phenomenal with this Rangers team since joining the team here, obviously, but he's coming into a new defensive system there. This team has already, not been great this season defensively, and then you kind of come in here on the deadline there with this team, as of right now, especially as of late, being kind of a spiral downward for the most part there, especially defensively. So I wouldn't be too upset with Soucy's game as of right now. Yes, could be better, absolutely, but I don't think I put most of the blame on him by any means here. So I do have faith that for next season there, guys like Borgen, Schneider, and Soucy, and even Urho are going to be pretty solid contributors for this team, and I'm hopeful if we do see some pretty big moves to this D-core here, we could see this team get a whole lot better defensively. And while having an elite goalie in net like Igor, if you have a much more improved defense core, I think to at least be around league average or a bit above that defensively, I think this could be a really big thing for this team. I think defensively, this team absolutely has to get better. We've got some solid foundational pieces there, but adding in a true kind of maybe top pairing or top 4 caliber defenseman, a really good one, would be quite ideal for this team. So let's take a look at some of the free agent defensemen that could become available after we did see Jakob Chychrun sign with that massive extension with the Capitals. And we can see Braden Schneider play on the left side as well. So I think adding in a right-handed defenseman, could make a bit of sense there. Obviously, right now, there's Foxy, Borgen, and kind of Schneider all on the right side. But like I said, Schneider has that experience now of playing on the left side as well. So if the Rangers find that perfect kind of right-handed defenseman they want to add in there, maybe it could make a little bit of sense there about moving Schneider over to the left. Schneider, Foxy top pair next season might not be the worst idea. Then you have Soucy, Borgen maybe, and obviously maybe see Keandre Miller dealt out. There are a lot of different options we can see. So moving a guy like Schneider over to the left side there to add in a good righty could make a bit of sense. But taking a look here at some of the top free agent defensemen that are going to become available potentially. And first off here, you've got a guy like Brent Burns, who I'm going to be honest, I think, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, would have been an absolutely incredible ad, obviously. As of right now in his career, I think it's still potentially a pretty solid, more than serviceable defenseman, but I just don't think his kind of overall play style is exactly kind of what this team is missing as of right now. Although, I've been a huge fan of Brent Burns for so many years in the NHL. He's obviously a guy who was incredibly fun to watch back with his days with San Jose, obviously. Now he's been with the Canes there. He's still been a solid defenseman, just not quite the exact kind of mold of player or kind of playing style that I think this team kind of desperately needs. Then you've got a guy like Dimitry Orlov, who again, I think could be a solid ad there. He's going to be, pretty pricey. I'd imagine they're probably going to get a pretty decent sized contract. He was also, or is still, I guess, with the Carolina Hurricanes there, pending unrestricted free agent there, could be a decent target. He is starting to get towards his mid-30s there. I would not really love to kind of see the Rangers give him a massive contract, but someone who I think it would make a lot of sense for this Rangers team to go kind of heavily after in free agency and potentially pay, that massive contract is a guy like Aaron Ekblad. He's that 6'4" right-handed defenseman, only 29 years old, is obviously a solid two-way guy, good offensively, good defensively, can bring some physicality, has won a cup, has that playoff experience, and I think just fills a lot of this team's needs. He's a very good defenseman. He's in his kind of prime years right now. And with having all that experience and that great two-way game, the good physical play as well, which we definitely know this team could use more of, while also being a pretty good kind of passer as well. He can make those breakout passes there, be just good kind of puck-moving guy as well. So I think he fills a lot of this team's needs. And if the Rangers went into next season with defense pairs looking like this, maybe you've got, Braden Schneider alongside Foxy on that top pair because Schneider can play on the left. Then for the second pair, you've got kind of Blank alongside, let's say, Ekblad. And then for the third pair, you've got Susie alongside Borgen, who have played together with the Kraken there. And your seventh guy is Urho Vakinainen. I think that would be a pretty great defense pair. Obviously, that decor would look pretty solid there. Maybe you have, instead of, Vakinainen being that seventh guy, maybe he is in that top six somewhere. So he just kind of takes that spot, maybe plays alongside Ekblad, whatever it is, who knows, but those are just kind of some options there where I think, if you add in a guy like Ekblad, it just bolsters up this decor so much, and I think provides this team which is so much more talent on the back end, which I definitely think is a must. This team has to go out there and add in a true kind of top four kind of high-end kind of guy like that on the back end there if this team wants to be a true cup contender. And a guy like Ekblad definitely fills a lot of this team's needs on the back end. There are also some other guys as well out there like Ivan Provorov, Jeff Petrie, Vladislav Gavrikov, Pionk. You could possibly look to bring back, although he's probably not the best fit. But there are some other guys out there like a Gavrikov or a Provorov who also could be really nice targets as well. There are some other kind of, maybe cheaper guys, some more veteran kind of guys out there as well that could be, possible decent ads. There are other guys out there as well that are going to be RFAs who maybe the Rangers would possibly look to kind of, make a trade for potentially and kind of do maybe some kind of a swap there with K'Andre Miller. Who knows? Maybe K'Andre's back and it definitely is possible. I just would really like to see a kind of upgrade happen in that spot. And I think, getting rid of, K'Andre Miller, who's probably going to want at least around that $6.5 million mark, something around there. You trade him away, you get something back for him, or maybe you're trading him away for some kind of young forward, possibly, or young defenseman to kind of take his spot. Either way, though, you'd be saving about $6.5 million, really, because you'd have to give him that kind of pay raise more than likely, and he's going to want something around there. So that money now you're able to use and go out there and spend on a guy like, let's say, Aaron Ekblad. And yes, it's going to cost an extra few mil, but that extra few mil, instead of paying, a guy like K'Andre, but now you're paying an extra few mil on top of what K'Andre would get, and you're getting a guy like Ekblad, I think that is a pretty major upgrade. So I think going out there, trading away a guy like K'Andre, adding in someone else with that kind of money you'd be giving to K'Andre could make a lot of sense for this team. And really and truly, like I said, this team absolutely must make some major upgrades in the back end here. And guys like, Gavrikov or Ekblad especially, I think could make a lot of sense for this team. Even Provorov would not be a bad target at all. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed, definitely don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on who do you kind of want to see, in free agency. Do you want to see it be a guy like Ekblad, Provorov, Petrie, Gavrikov, Orlov? Who do you want to see it be? There's a lot of ovs out there on the defense side of things there. Dimitry Orlov, Ivan Provorov, Vladislav Gavrikov. Which ov is your favorite? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who do you want to see the Rangers target in free agency? And I'll catch you next one. And also, let's go. Go Rangers.